Can you find the wolves in this picture? Leonardo Di Caprio's character asked twice in the extraordinary film trailer to Killers of the Flower Moon, the upcoming 2023 movie by Martin Scorsese. Film trailers are never a guarantee to the final merits of a picture. A fairly recent example is for The Many Saints of Newark, which, judging by its fine trailer, promised to illuminate, clarify, and deepen the origin story of the Sopranos television series, arguably the greatest TV show of all time. But instead of a sterling coming-of-age narrative about a teen who will grow up to become a boss of a mob crime family, we were dismayed by a ponderous, wobbly, and dare I say woke revisionist story, crammed with a subplot and superfluous characters no one who was mesmerized by the original series cared about. The Many Saints of Newark was an incredible stumble the trailer never hinted at because it was so distinctly superb. I haven't read Killers of the Flower Moon, The Osage Murders, and The Birth of the FBI, David Grann's 2018 nonfiction bestseller, but there will be time before the film's adaptation's release in October 2023. I look forward to both. Still, I have been vaguely familiar with the outline of the book. I may have heard an interview Grann granted to NPR or seen him discussing it on C-SPAN. The true story he uncovered struck me as fantastical, revolting, yet human all too human, to quote Nietzsche, and Shakespearean. Years ago, when Martin Scorsese adapted Edith Wharton's The Age of Innocence, there was a collective bewilderment before its release. The guy who makes violent films set in the criminal underbelly of New York City, he now wants to direct a corset film? From Edith Wharton's novel? The Wasp's socialite? Edith Wharton? How can this be? Yet Scorsese delivered one of his most beautiful, precise, and reflective films to date. He drew extraordinary Oscar-nominated performances from Daniel Day-Lewis, to be expected, Michelle Pfeiffer, never better and robbed of an Academy Award, and Winona Ryder. But he also uncovered thematic motifs between Wharton's historical, rarefied observations of 19th century high society and, pardon the pun, his own mean streets. That this masterwork, and a line of masterworks, did not sweep the Oscars is another testament to their overall banality. The trailer's opening sequence might confusingly suggest Paul Thomas Anderson's There Will Be Blood or Terrence Malick's Days of Heaven, but of course Scorsese predates both of them, although he and Malick, closer in age, are almost contemporaries. Which doesn't mean that Scorsese couldn't admire them and have been influenced by their prior recorded cinematic visions of past epic America. But the more likely explanation is of a common cinematic vision from auteurs before them, especially John Ford. Has a steam engine train ever looked so menacing? Once we get past DiCaprio's curious accent in the voiceovers, and either age, makeup, and or technique squashing his once dashing good looks, we're keenly aware of pioneer America, of the West, who settled there because of who they took it from in the first place. We see his character as a former GI turned chauffeur, exchanging toiling for Uncle Sam for a Model T or some other early automobile contraption. We see him eye the passenger, a handsome Native American woman of Osage heritage. She is oblivious, but he and we are not, and already we are dreading what's to come. What to say about the shocking first glimpse of Robert De Niro? It is more than we have seen him on screen for 6 decades of his life. The suave yet intelligent and cunning handsomeness of the young Vito Corleone from The Godfather Part 2 of 1974 has morphed into the visage of a white-haired Robert Barron in 2023. Now he suggests the oil-painting profiles of J. Paul Getty, J.P. Morgan, or the first Rockefellers. How is this so? The whiter-than-white hair, the wrinkles, the oval eyeglasses have American business mercenary stenciled all over his face before we hear a word from him, and we do not in the trailer. Then we see DiCaprio and Lily Gladstone's character's couple, fear that his character named Ernest, allow that name to sink in, is a less than reliable narrator. And maybe we too fall in love with one Molly Burkhart. Is she a damsel in distress, her people? Is this an American Romeo and Juliet story? No, Othello. Is this a continuation of the interracial romance at the heart of Malick's The New World? Or something else? The trailer speeds up, hurling us through a montage of violence, deception, greed, court sessions, literal concoctions of poisons, helplessness of fates greater than ourselves. Fairfax, Oklahoma, comes to suggest a tempest of American fatalism, the heaven and hell of American expansionism. Another indictment of the Trail of Tears. And then there's a heartbreaking, jaw-dropping moment when we are pulled away from the maelstrom. Before us are a handful of Native American women arranged for a formal portrait, including Molly. The trailer jars from color to sepia, black and white, like the Wizard of Oz in reverse. Their faces are serene, proud, and symbolic of the doom for all faces which look like that. The dread is palpable. The last scene, with its knowing wink to Scorsese's other great gangster film, Casino, Goodfellas' evil twin, is another boxer's blow. And a poignant reminder that so many of Scorsese's films are about unelected cabals of power who wreak havoc upon not only their circles, but more importantly, those beyond their circle. Millions have seen this trailer. The immediate popularity attests to a reservoir of anticipation about the film, its double fortune of being crafted from a bestseller, and the latest offering from an august filmmaker. Scorsese is the last of his kind. Francis Ford Coppola, Brian De Palma have both waned, making him the last of those three American lions who roared at the start of the 1970s. I'm deliberately excluding Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, not from snobbery, but other reasons I'll disclose at another time. A guaranteed masterpiece? Of course not. We won't know until October. Opinion was greatly divided on Scorsese's last magnum opus, The Irishman. But the trailer for The Killing Moon seems to offer a promise of great expectations being met. It has the sensation of watching an expert archer notching a quarrel and sending it through the sky. But what do you think? Leave your opinions in the commentary box, and thanks for watching.